the wife was staying with the family, with the mother-in-law, and I started to get experiences. I started to, what I thought were voices in my head, explaining things to me. And that was basically my first contact. And as the nights progressed, the contact became stronger and stronger, until one time I looked out of the car window one night, and there they were, stood there, with two what I can only describe as greys, that I called John and James, because they have no actual designation to call them.
Okay, and go ahead and tell the rest.
Okay, and from that, they talked to us. They talked to me on many occasions. They would always show up. Now, originally I thought, okay, well, either I'm going crazy, I must be going crazy. I see these two little guys. I'm like, okay, I'll just ride with it, and that's what I did. I just let the experience happen. But in the back of my mind, thought, I'm in serious trouble here, until we started to get an apartment. And I remember one night it was at Devon's house, and they showed up, and I was like, oh, I didn't know what to do. I thought, okay, I'm going to be talking to Devon while looking at these guys stood right in front of me, and I don't know what I'm going to say or what I'm going to do. And he walked in, and he instantly, there was a recognition there. He wasn't scared. He didn't, it was like he'd been around these guys all his life, which I came to know that he had. He already knew who they were. He already knew what they were. And so did his wife, and so did his son. And as the time went on, my family also experienced them. When they were with me, everybody could see them. As I said, the only person that couldn't see them was my 16-year-old daughter, who now sees them. And that happened in the space of the past 2 months. As in, now my 16-year-old, who back then she was 15, she couldn't see them, now she can actually see them. And she's got a lot of questions.
But the drawing that I have of yours that you sent me of the younger daughter,
yes,
she has been seeing them for quite some time. Is that correct?
Yes, she has. She speaks to them, and she can speak to them. She understands more of she can understand them better than I can understand them, because of how they talk to people. It's very confusing when they start speaking, because they already answer questions that you're thinking about. So it's very hard for you to keep up.
So, but they also have something of a story of their own, because apparently they are renegades. They're not your usual Greys. Is that right? Yes, this
is very true. What they are is 2 of 5. Now, the 5 originally wanted to break away from what they were a part of, and they never really go into any detail what they were a part of. It's very interesting. They do tell a lot about their history. They do talk a lot about their history and what they were, but they don't like to go into what they are now, if you understand that. And their history is very much, what they were is very much kind of where we are in a sense. But anyway, getting back to the 5, what happened was 3 that were going to originally leave were on a ship, and they had some kind of device on the ship, some kind of craft, metallic disc, whatever you want to call it. And a person in the military, who I believe is a remote viewer, actually came into contact with the 3. And the 3 were connecting with that person, saying, we need help. You've got to help us, because we're trying to get away, and this device is going to go off if we stop. And so that military person was trying to help them. But before he could get any help, the device did go off and those 3 died. And now John and James were the 2 that were left. And they managed to get away.
Okay, and the reason this actually has some validity is that I recently interviewed Ashayana Dean, formerly known as Anna Hayes, who's written the Voyager books, and she describes the fact that there are some greys that are breaking away and do not do negative abductions any longer, and they've actually joined the guardian races in protecting the Earth and in doing positive things for the Earth and for humanity, and they've changed from being service to self, apparently. So take that for what it's worth to you, but it is an interesting correlation. I've never heard of anyone else having this kind of experience, and I'm assuming that you, Ben, were not familiar with Ashayana Dean's books.
No, not at all.
Okay. And recently I was in Florida and you never showed up. Did you have a problem?
I did, and it was an accident. I got hit by a car, but it was nothing untoward. I was picking up my brother who does DJing at the local nightclub, and somebody plowed into the side of the car.
Okay.
I was fine.
Some energy didn't want you to come and meet me in person. But at any rate, so you've got John and James, and they're on the run, and they're actually you've actually talked to them about protecting your daughter and making sure that she's safe. Isn't that right?
Yes, that's correct.
And why did you talk to them about that?
Because of my other experience. I just wanted to say, because people have heard me call them Tao, as in what does it stand for, but I just repeat what they tell me, and they refer to some of the other the other species as Tao, which stands for Dimensional Observational Worker. That's all that means, as far as I know. Okay. But the problem I've had is with reptilian contact. And
okay. Why don't you describe that, and then how that factors into your asking John and James to protect your child.
Okay, can you hold on 1 second?
Sure. Okay, we're taking a short break here. Actually, we could take a break if you'd like, for around 4 minutes, just to give you a moment.
Oh, sorry about that. Okay.
Ben, would you like to take a break? Because we kind of skipped over the break, but we're on a certain kind of radio station where we are able to take breaks if we need to.
I'm okay to keep going if you are.
Okay, fine. All right, go ahead then.
Okay, so a little while ago, I had my first encounter when I was walking around by a lake, and as I've explained, it was a reptilian contact that just seemed to walk up and describe. I can only assume it's describing itself to me, and it's not the nicest experience that I've ever had. But from what's been explained to me, it's what they're doing is when you are in contact with things like John and James, everything around it that is of a certain signature has to identify itself as a standard protocol. Even though they're broken away, there's still certain rules that these things have to adhere to. And that's exactly what the reptilian races are doing. When they come into contact, they give you like their designation, I would say. But I have got no idea because I can't understand what they're doing, what they're saying, or anything. It's like I can't describe how it feels in the head when you see these things. It's like somebody, almost like nails on a chalkboard, but a little bit worse than that. because it seems to go right through you. It's definitely in the center of your brain that it hurts.